In today's world, the success of every company and organization depends upon innovation, fresh insights, new procedures, and original ideas. And yet, the efficiency requirements of most organizations tend to inhibit creativity. And by necessity, organizations operate on an orderly, step-by-step basis. For example, when an order comes in, it must be routed properly, filled properly, shipped properly, and billed properly. If something is not done correctly, then it's done incorrectly. If an answer is not right, then it's wrong. We must have efficiency. And efficiency is strictly a pass or fail proposition. But we also need to deal with creativity, which is a process totally dependent upon the freedom to make mistakes. I'll show you how true that is. A baker who carelessly lets his bread get moldy will lose customers and may have to go out of business. Yet, a creative scientist who carelessly let the contents of a dish get moldy discovered penicillin. It may seem unfair, but that's how it is.
Here it is, just the way you wanted it.
In any organization, it's much easier to tolerate the non-creative person, the team player, who fits in smoothly and doesn't upset the routine. The imaginative thinker who questions procedures and wants to try new things is often regarded as an embarrassing nuisance.
Just have to do it.
I don't think people are fooled because the computer sticks their name into a form letter, do you? I think we should just call them up.
Well, it might be a good idea, Christine, but we just don't do things that way around here.
To be an effective administrator, manager, supervisor, or team leader, you have to emphasize efficiency and plan orderly procedures. But if you also want the advantages of creative thinking and creative problem solving, you're going to have to learn to manage chaos. At any level, creativity is encouraged by creative leadership. Jonathan Wells has just been placed in such a leadership role. His group faces a problem familiar to every kind of organization, large or small. The organization has been losing too many trained, highly desirable personnel. He has been asked to chair a group and come up with ideas for stemming this talent drain.
Well, the conference rooms are all tied up, but we have the guest lounge from 11 to noon.
Is this going to be some sort of brainstorming session?
Very similar. This first meeting will be to generate ideas.
Well, I'll try to turn my generator on.
Let me first tell you what Jonathan is going to do. The generating ideas phase involves 4 strategic stages. 1, know the principles. 2, pick a creative team. 3, set the goal. And 4, generate multiple ideas. In mastering any mental skill, we must understand the principle before we can apply the method. And the basic principle is that we're going to change our habitual way of thinking. Usually, we think in terms of probabilities. We all share millions of memory patterns and associations. So give us a few clues, and we immediately jump to the most likely probability. For instance, if someone says to you, "Traffic was bad this morning," your mind automatically fills in the probable details. Now, as soon as you hear the word traffic, you get mental images of cars, trucks, streets, pedestrians, and traffic lights. Shared probabilities enable us to communicate, solve routine problems quickly, and make decisions. Creativity, on the other hand, is possibility thinking. It breaks the habit of pattern thinking because it takes in the possibility of new combinations and new viewpoints. In the possibility mode, a person hearing the word traffic might consider the possibility that the speaker is an air traffic controller. and get images of airplanes, radar screens, airport towers, and so forth. For decades, people made coffee by the percolator method. Water was heated below the coffee, then rose up through a pipe and dripped back down through the coffee grounds. Then inventors thought of the possibility of reversing the arrangement. By heating the water above the coffee, they created a faster, more convenient method. One more illustration. From only these two clues, what kind of fruit does this represent? Well, judging by the familiar pattern, the size and shape suggests the probability it represents an orange, a reasonable, logical assumption. But suppose we apply creative or possibility thinking to these same clues. Has a possibility occurred to you that the drawing might be an enlargement? In which case, it might represent a grape. In busy organizations, this kind of thinking can make decision makers very nervous. How can you manage people who see oranges as grapes, or who think airplane when you're talking about street traffic? And in fact, why should you put up with them? Because probability thinking deals with patterns and assumptions based upon what we already know. Creative thinking deals with as yet unknown possibilities, and those are what the future is built upon.